Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel today. You're watching Creative Gems. That's my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me. If it's your first time joining and you like what you see today, I'd love you to subscribe. If you just hit the subscribe button, and when that comes up, you will see a little bell. If you click on that, it will notify you each time. You can click all. There's a few options there, but it will notify you when I do my videos. Just another couple of things. My Facebook group, it's called Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials. All the PDFs for these projects that I do on my channel are in the Tips and Tutorials page under the Files tab. I've also got live videos in there under the Featured tab, and all the tutorials for those are in the Files tab as well. My Facebook page, it is just for cards, so it's called Cards by Laura, and it's just projects, not necessarily all cards, but any projects that I've done over the years, including the ones on my YouTube and my workshops and classes and whatever else I do. They're just there for display. There's no PDFs for those in that Facebook page. If you need tutorials and stuff, just request to join my Facebook group. If you want to join this group, there are 2 questions. If you just type in Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials, it'll bring it up, and you request to join. There are 2 questions in there that you need to answer: why you wish to join the group, and also that you agree to the rules. And I will approve from there if you've answered the questions. If not, I'll give you a decline, but it will give you an explanation of what you did wrong. That is the business part of it all done, and today I'm going to show you a lovely little project. These are what I did for my pillow gifts on stage. I'm sharing with 2 other ladies. One's my good, or they're both my good friends actually. But I gave them each one of these. I haven't put inside what they're doing, what they've got. I didn't want to show that, but it's just a little box, hexagonal box. I have got a face washer that's going rolled up in here, as well as a little Nivea lip gloss that I decided I got these from the chemist, my local chemist, and because they were blue, I love the little blue sparkly thing. They will sit down inside the face washer. The face washer has their name embroidered on them. I will take a photo and put it in my group page later on. But they will get rolled up in there, and that sits inside that. So they do fit other sorts of gifts, chocolates or whatever you like. The lids are quite firm to get on, and hopefully the one I do today is not as tight. It's only because the measurements were exactly the same as the base, so you've got to watch. And I'll also, there is another one that I did earlier that I had mats around these, but I found that made it too thick. So I'm just using DSP on all of these. That's it for that side of it. I think I've missed cutting some of the papers, but I'll do that as we go. And I'll show you the measurements that you need for that. These are the measurements for the box. My base, which is 11 and 5/8 by 7 inches. That's this one here. I've already cut it to size. I'll give you the scoring as we go. The mats for that are 2 3/4 by 1 5/8, and I've got 6 of those. This is on the base. That's those 6. There's 6 there, yes. And if you're using DSP, the mats, well, that's if you use a mat, but then I've just used the DSP. So that will be the DSP size. If you do a mat and a DSP, you'll just go down probably 1/4 of an inch on both, so it gives you an 1/8 of an inch border, or you could go down an 1/8 of an inch. It'll give you a little 1/16 inch border, but I've decided not to do the mats. I did have another box that I did. I'm not sure where I've put it, but it did have the mats, but I found it was too thick. then your DSP. So that's if you do your mats and your DSP. If you want just DSP, you do it to the size of your mats, if that makes sense. Then the lid is 11 5/8 by 4 inches. And I've added a smidge on, and I'll show you what I mean by that, which is that it'll make it the full length of the cardstock. That's so it's just that fraction bigger, so hopefully it'll fit comfortably over the top of that. And I've already done my decoration. I'll show you. I can decorate the lid part. I have put DSP around here, but I've forgotten to cut the pieces, but we can cut those in a minute. Won't take too long. We shall get started. I'll put this aside and bring in my scorer. Now this one, it measures, we're scoring on the short side at 1.5 and 4.5. So we'll go to there, 1.5 and 4.5. Then turn to the long side. We'll put all those together. We need the arm out, so we shall put them to the other side. And we're scoring at 1 7/8, which is 2 strokes just before the 2. When I'm scoring, I make sure my cutter blade is right down the end of the trimmer. This is my scoring blade, which is the lighter one, and it stays at the top. That way, if I'm scoring, I know I'm not going to pick up my cutter by mistake because it's sitting right down there. When I've got the 2 at the top here, if the cutter is above that one, which you can change around, I tend to grab, you don't look at what you're taking down, and sometimes I've cut instead of scored, so I make sure it's on the lower side. The next score is 3 3/4, which is that one there. Five 5/8, and 7.5. There's some odd measurements here, but believe me, it works out even spacing all the way across. 9 3/8, which is just 2 strokes before the half. 9.5, and 11 1/4. 11 1/4, which is over there. That gives you the little 1/2 inch tab line down the end for to join your box together. So we'll put that aside. Now I did have a template. I haven't got it with me. That's okay. So I'm going to fold and burnish all of these. And you make sure that you're even down these sides here, so it's nice and square, or nice shape when you're putting it together. Go from this end. This is the little 1/2 inch tab on this end. It's a while since I've made these, so bear with me if I have to keep reading my instructions. So that's all of those, and then this way we're going here, and the wider section here, I'll just double check because I know I've done another box where the wider piece is different. Yes, and we need a corner rounder. I'll just take the lid off one of these. Now the narrower ones are at the top. So as you can see, there's a narrower section here and a wider section here. So this narrow one here is going to get folded down inside, which makes it reinforced in here. But we are going to corner round the bottom ones, but we need to do some cutting first. And I shall get my scissors out, which I've already got. Now you're going to cut up, excuse me, cut up these just to that score line all the way across on both sides, just to that first score line. I am recording this, so when you're watching the recording, I will have already given the girls their gifts. I'll let you know at a later date how they go. This end little piece here, that's going to get removed altogether on both sides. Just remove that section. And we're also going to notch this end tab here. I'll take that bit off. And then we're going to do the same on this side, cut up all of these score lines to that center score line there. You can see how it's going to shape up. I'll just get my corner rounder out in a minute. The corner rounder is not, it's optional. You don't have to corner round the pieces because you're not going to see them anyway. But I will show you if you wish to corner round them. And you're going to remove this section here again and notch it as you go. Do that all in one step. So you've got your little tab on this end, which we're going to put tear and tape on there, and that will join the whole thing together. Now this top section here, I'm going to notch each of these. Not this, we could notch this end one just slightly. These are only slight, just so they go in a little bit better. Just trim that way a bit as well. So just a slight notch on each of them. Notching just helps for the, when you fold them in, they fit in neatly inside the whatever you're making, and doesn't catch on the edge of the next piece. Most boxes you need to notch some parts of it. This is the one that goes inside. The other part, it doesn't need notching. The bottom section doesn't need notching because it's going to get flapped over. Should have had my little dish out for my scraps. I usually keep a little dish on my desk for that. Now, you can either glue these or a piece of tear and tape. I'm going to put tear and tape on because sometimes you have to sit there and hold the glue to make sure it goes and sets for you. Just going to put one strip along all of these. This colour cardstock is called Bubble Bath, and the piece, the DSP that I've used, it was a free celebration item. My celebration is now finished. We're into March. It went January, February, but I got quite a few packs of it, so I thought I would use it up on some projects. I love the birds on the paper. It's very pretty. So that's all of those, and we can push those down. They can get folded over. Doesn't matter what order you do all these in. I'll do this first. I might leave that end one up for the minute just to see. I think we need to flap it down underneath. Oh, I'm putting it in the wrong box. We'll put that aside. Putting it inside the box. So we'll do all the we'll leave the two end ones for starters until I put this So this tab here, I better flip those up so they don't get stuck on the paper. And I'm going to put a strip of tear and tape down this side. This is on the outside of the box, on the little tab down that end. Then we can lay all these pieces across here as well. This here I'm going to corner round. I'll just get my corner rounder out. It's just handy here. So these ones here, I should put some, I just put a strip of backing back on those two pieces just so that it doesn't get stuck somewhere that it shouldn't. I'll show you why we don't do those in a sec. Just leave that on there. Now if you fold these under one at a time and do your corner rounder. This is an old retired corner rounder from Stampin' Up, but it's I won't part with it until they bring out another one, which they haven't got. I wouldn't mind a handheld one, which would be handy for projects instead of this. There was another project I did the other day, and you couldn't get into this one like this. You needed a handheld one to do the corner round. So it would be nice. Each of these, not necessary for this part if you don't have a corner rounder, and I'll show you why in a minute, because this is the bottom of the box and it doesn't really need to be corner rounded if you don't want to, because you won't see it anyway. You might see one of them, but you're still not going to see it down on the bottom. So I'm just doing each of those. If you fold the previous one under so it doesn't get caught, make sure it's square inside your rounder. And you end up with all those little bits. So that's that, like so. Now we shall put our little pieces on first. These doesn't really matter which direction. I'll make sure the birds are all going the same way, which is that way. There's 3 on that one. We'll put 1 on that one. 2, 1, 2, and 2. Just to mix them up a little bit. They were, you couldn't, if you cut your strip, which was 2 3/4 inches wide, if you cut a whole strip 2 3/4 and then cut it into your 1 5/8 all the way across, then you could lay them out so that they all join up. I don't think I did that, so I'm pretty sure I didn't, but that's okay. You're not going to notice it on this. It's quite busy anyway. I'm just going to use my liquid glue to put them on. I might get out my silicone mat so we don't end up with glue all over our workspace. They just fit nicely in there with the border all the way around. Even the backs of this paper are really, really pretty. I'll see if I can find an alternate, the trim around the lid. I'll cut those in a sec. I don't think I've even put the measurements on the lid, but I'll fix the PDF for that. Make sure you've got the measurements for the decoration around the lid. That's those pieces around there. They'd be, I won't guess, I'll just measure it in a minute. But I'll adjust the PDF so it gives you the measurements for those pieces. I will be doing a video as well for the swaps that I am handing out on stage, or that I handed out. By the time you watch this, on stage will be over, because I'm recording before that. So, but by the time you see it, the swaps will be all gone. It's not a normal card that I did. I'll just give you a hint. It'll be on another video, so keep your eye out for that. Quite simple to do. So that's those in place. Now we can take off the backing of this piece of tear and tape. I'll just burnish that down a bit better. Take this piece off. This will fold over and it will fit. Make sure your score lines are lined up along that way, and it'll go just even with that edge and just shy of the score line, the up and down score line that way. So that's that, and that's your shape. Now we can put these, well, this one could have gone in, but this one here, I want to cover that that tab. So the one on the opposite end of the tab you could have put down, but that's easy to do in there. You could do all of these after you join it together, but this one here will go in now after. So it's all a nice even top on your shape. Now this piece here, we're going to go, and I found the video, there's a few videos out for this. Some of them went round and around and around like that, but I prefer to go, I've missed corner rounding this one. I'll just have a go at doing it now that it's together. Might be a bit difficult. Where did I put it? Over here. I did miss one. Still okay to do after. Didn't even notice it when I did it. So what I'm doing is putting the opposite ones here like so, and if you pull them so that the edges here are lined up, and that way your box will end up the shape that it should be. I'm just going to put a bit of glue on this bottom one here. Glue is better for this because you've got a bit of wiggle room to push it down. So then bring those two across like so. You can come from underneath and just press that down. Make sure it grabs. We'll push that down in from there. Then we'll go two opposite again, which is these two. I shall put the glue on this side this time because I want it to catch the top of it. So that will go across that way, and make sure they're lined up. Actually, I need to put it, before I do that, I need to put a little bit of glue in here. So that one, you need glue all the way through so that they'll stick together. Pull those so that they're nice and straight on each other. Just takes a little bit to hold them. If you can flip it over and push from the inside, it's much easier. It'll give it a chance to hold. And then the last two will go like so. So we'll put a little bit on here first. Pull that one across. And then I'm putting it on the top edge here because I want the whole flap at the top to stick down. Pull that across so it's nice and even that way. See, you could just corner round that last one, but you won't know which one it is. You could do the corner rounding after if you want, but that way it ends up nice and neat on the bottom. And that is the base of the box. How pretty is that? Except I've got all my birds upside down. Didn't even look at that. Oh well, that's okay. We'll have, you know what I needed to do. I needed to put the birds at the smaller end. Didn't notice that when I did it. I might cut some more and I'll put them on later so that they're the right way up. But we won't worry about that now. If you've haven't got directional paper, you'll be fine. You don't have to worry. If you've got directional paper, make sure it's coming from the small tabs at the top, like so. We have upside down birds. I can't believe I did that. That's okay, not to worry. Now our lid, we need, this piece here measures 11 5/8. I don't know if I had that on my original piece. Yes, I did. I've already mentioned that. 11 5/8 by 4 inches. Plus that smidge, which I'll show you on here. 11 5/8 is the actual width of your, if you're in Australia, it's the width of your A4 cardstock. So that's 11 5/8, and you'll see it's exactly on that. And then it's 4 inches that way. So we shall do some scoring on this. On the short side, we need 1/2 inch. And I did the 1/2 inch that side, so I'm flipping it around, and then 1 1/4 inches. 1 1/4, which is there. And that's the short side, and then on the long side, it's 1 7/8. All these measurements will be on my PDF in my tips and tutorials group. 3 3/4, 5 inches, oh, that should have been 5 5/8. I shall push that one back out, and I'll fix that on my, I've got the 5/8 piece on a different line, and I missed it, so we'll push that one out. That's not too bad, you won't see it anyway. It's 5 5/8, which is there. I'll just circle that on my instructions so we don't forget to move it. 7 1/2. 9 3/8. 1 2 3. And 11 1/4, which gives you the little 1/2 inch tab on the end to join it together. So move that out of the road. Fold and burnish all of these. So that little tunnel section between the two score lines is the this part of your box. So the wider section here this time will be the top of your box, which the flaps get folded in exactly the same as we did the base. Making sure all my score lines are square. Is that one that I shouldn't? Oh no, that's the one. That's the wrong one. Lucky it's getting covered. That's not the one we needed. That's correct. Make sure we don't cut up that wrong score line. Now we're going to cut exactly the same as we did the first one, the base of the box. You're going to cut up these, and I'm not going to notch the top, same as you did, not that one, that's my messed up one. I don't like to waste a big piece of cardstock, so we'll work with it. Cutting up all those score lines. And this one here can get cut out completely. The bottom section, the top section. I'm going to notch that slightly there. And the same on this other side. This is the top of your box. No, not the top, the bottom. This is the bottom. That gets removed completely. And we'll give that a little notch. And then you can cut up these smaller ones. I'll show you the lid in a sec, how it works. So these smaller tabs will fold in the same as we did the base. They will fold in to create that nice even bottom of your box. These here will flap over to create the top. So we need, these here can get notched, these tiny ones, just slightly on each side. Doesn't need a big notch, just a little bit to make it fit in there. I shall go and get some paper out to cut some little pieces. I won't use the birds, I'll use an alternate pattern. Just trying to think. That piece doesn't want to come out. So that's all of those. We'll put tape along those. This is on the inside because these all get folded under. You could use glue here, but it just takes that little bit longer to set, to dry. You've got to sit and hold it. But if you're not in a hurry, you could easily use liquid glue. I do prefer using tear and tape on most of my boxes. It's just a little bit more secure. And this little tab here will be on the outside with a small piece of tear and tape across that. That's to hold it together. We can corner round. I don't think I will corner round the top because I'm going to put a similar decoration on the top. So you're not going to see the ends of those. So we won't bother with them. Now, these pieces here, and I shall write them down for you on the PDF. I get my ruler. They are, or they will be 1 and 3/4. I think I made them 1 3/4 by probably 5/8, 1 3/4 by 5/8. So we'll just get some DSP out. Not sure what colour to do. I won't use the blue, you won't see it on the thing, and I don't want more flowers. There is that, this, don't know if I've got enough of this one. Probably not, but that will do. I've got another pack there I can use. No more in that one. What's the other side of that? That's that one. I'll just get another pack. We do have lots of this one, although I love the birds on the back of this. So we're going this side. I shall cut the strip the full length at 5/8 of an inch. Oops, that way. And 1 3/4. I'll just check. I'll do 1 and just check that it's the right size. 1 3/4. Yes, they're perfect. So we want 6 of those. 1 3/4. These do go. This pattern does go with the colour on the base where there's some fresh freesia in the flowers. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Leave that little piece aside. We can put all of those on, and there's no direction this time. I can't put something upside down. I'll just put these on with liquid glue. I've already done the decoration for the lid, so it won't take long to finish. Just perfect size in there. When I usually add a photo to my PDF of the finished thing, so I will fix the birds, the upside down birds, and I'll cut more pieces and I'll just put them over the top of that. It's only the thickness of designer paper, so it's not going to make it too thick. That score line's going to get covered, so you won't see that. I don't like wasting cardstock when you score it wrong. If it's too noticeable on your project, I just cut it up for smaller bits like greetings and things like that. You can always cut it up for scrap. Never just throw it away. So that's those already done. Now if you go this way, you'll see this last one here is the one that you don't want to put under just yet. All the others can go under. So it's the end one there. All these can get folded inwards. My little dish. Push those over as we go. So this will be the bottom of the lid, the round bit that goes around the base. Oops, no, we don't want that one just yet. we want to go this way. Just make sure that's not going to, I'll just put a little bit of tape back on it. And then this one here, just take that one off, bring this across. Actually, you get this one you can pick up, it's only tiny. Just line it up even with your score lines that are running parallel that way, like so. And this one then can come off, and we can push that in, and that will also hold your little tab down so it doesn't come apart. So that's the base part. It'll go this way this time, opposite to the other. Now you're going to do exactly the same as you did the base, getting two opposite ones. So it'll be those two. So I'll put the glue up on this side of it so that we get it to the edge. I know I did it the other way last time, but it doesn't really matter. But this way we can get it so it's sealing further across. Just pull those in, not too tight. Don't stretch it that it's in the wrong place. I might just pop it onto the base to make sure it's going to fit. And that will pull that apart. It will be right, but you've just got to wiggle it a little bit. I might just pull those out a fraction. It's better to have them a little bit bigger than too tight. And that's stuck down. Then we'll get these two opposite. I'll put some glue down on the bottom one as well. And then up here, this one's going to go there. That one will go across. Try and keep it straight. And then the last two this way. A bit of glue on the previous one. That worked out well. The score line that I didn't want is down in under there. Glue on this one. And pull that across. Flip it over. Push it all down nice and firmly. I shall wait for that glue to set a little bit before I try and put it on the lid, on the base I should say. Just move that across a bit. It's not too bad. That'll get covered. My decoration piece, I've done this. So I've just used the, what were they? Thoughtful Expression dies. They're a nested set of dies. I think, yes, this one here. You could use any nested dies if you want to do it a decoration similar. So it's those ones there in the current mini catalogue. And that will sit on there. So I've gone, I think I used the biggest size. Won't matter if it's over the edges a little bit. And I've just layered up colour for colour. And then I cut a piece of DSP out of the top. And I've also got dimensional. And I put dimensionals up on two of the layers. I've got two stuck together and then dimensionals in between. And then those two with dimensionals on the top of this. That'll just sit on the top of there. So if you found that the overlap pieces were not that even. It doesn't really matter, it's going to get covered anyway because mine weren't exactly even. Now hopefully, cross fingers, it's a little bit tight. You've just got to keep manoeuvring this one. I'll turn it around a bit. It's a little bit tight, but it will stretch eventually. That's your box. Pretty as. I hope you like that. These are the other ones that I have done. They are my table gifts, my pillow gifts for the girls, so we shall get rid of that out of there. And that's my 3 little boxes. That's the lid of, I'm not sure which was which now. That one was on there, I think. Yes, that way. The darker colours. So that's the 3 little boxes. Upside down birds, but I shall fix that shortly. And that's how you do it. Just remember, your base is a little bit tight for your lid, but just persevere and get it on. Once you get it on once, it will stretch and it'll fit perfectly. That's it from me. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I shall see you all again next Monday with another video, and have a lovely week. Bye for now.